Hello, my dear student friends. Hope all of you are fine and doing well. Today, in this lecture video, I am going to discuss about macroeconomic concepts and variables. I have named it as part 1 because remaining concepts and variables I would like to discuss in my next class. So let us begin. First of all, let us understand what is variable. A magnitude or a quantity that changes over a period of time can be called as variable. In case of a variable, a quantity assumes a number of values indicating a continual increase or decrease in its magnitude. For instance, if you take into account different levels of prices, incomes, employment, output, quantities of money, these changing magnitudes indicate that the quantities mentioned here are variable. Now we have to also know how the variables are classified or how the macroeconomic variables are categorized. To understand that, I will have to change the slide. The basic anatomy of variable I have shown on the PPT screen. You can see variables are generally classified as dependent and independent variable, then endogenous and exogenous variable, and finally stock and flow variable. So one by one we will discuss these three categories of variables. Okay. Dependent and independent variables. A variable is said to be a dependent variable when its magnitude is related in some unique way to the changes in the magnitude of some other variable regarded as independent variable. For example, demand varies inversely with price. If other things remain the same, in this case, demand depends upon the price of a commodity. Therefore, the former is the dependent variable while the latter is the independent variable. Similarly, the traditional quantity theory of money says that when the price level changes in direct proportion to the changes in the quantity of money. This statement in the quantity theory points out that price level is dependent variable and the quantity of money is the independent variable. On the screen you can see I have written D is equal to FP. D means demand, P means price, and F means function. So this should be read as demand is a function of price. That means demand depends on price. As the demand law says, when price increases, demand decreases. When price decreases, demand increases. So both have opposite relation. Here, price is not depending on demand, demand is depending on price. So that is why here D is the dependent variable and P is the independent variable. So let's move to the next slide. Before discussing about endogenous and exogenous variable, I will have to make you understand the concept of economic model, because without knowing about economic model, you will get it difficult to understand the endogenous and exogenous variable. Now, what is economic model? Any model which is simplified version of reality that allows the observers to understand and make predictions about economic behavior may be regarded as economic model. Okay, and there is a difference between economic model and economic theory. A theory is a more abstract version of any kind of economic representation, whereas economic model is more empirical in comparison to economic theory. Okay, so let me change the slide. Now, endogenous and exogenous variables. The variables which are internal to the economic system and constitute an integral part of the system or the model are known as endogenous variables. If the variables are external to the system, these are regarded as exogenous variables. Let me give you an example. For example, levels of income, output or employment, magnitudes of savings and investment, or demand and supply, consumer taste for commodities, and stock of capital, etc., are essentially the variables which are internal to the economic system. But the variables like size, growth and composition of population, strength of labor organization, techniques of production, inventions, innovations, etc., may be regarded as the exogenous variables. Okay, so let me change the slide again. Now, finally, I would like to speak on stock and flow variables. Stock and flow variables are very important for macroeconomic analysis. Many economic controversies have centered around this confounding problem, whether a particular variable has the dimension of a flow or a stock. A stock variable is one which has no time dimension but is described at a specific moment of time. A flow variable, on the other hand, involves necessity a time dimension, and it is always expressed by per unit of time. Say a day, a week, a month, or a year. For example, you can consider a lake fed by a single stream. The volume of water contained in the lake at a given point of time is the stock. The volume of water flowing into it over some period of time is the flow. Let me give you an economic example for both the concepts. For stock we can say 100 crores of population of India in the year 2001 and total capital of rupees 5 crore of a firm on 31st March 2020, and then stock of raw materials of a factory on 31st March 2019. These may be regarded as examples of stock variable. Okay. Now flow. Monthly wages of a worker, then per hour speed of a train, then the production of cloth during a year, etc. These may be regarded as examples of flow variables. With this, we came to the end of this video lecture. If you have any doubt or question, please don't hesitate to post to me. I will be more than happy to answer your questions. Thank you so much. Have a good time.